Hello and welcome to episode 106 of the Terrible Book Club. I'm Chris and this is Paris.
Hello.
This time we read Feeding the Dragon, Inside the $1 Trillion Dilemma Facing Hollywood, the NBA, and American Business by Chris Fenton.
Content warnings for today. We're going to discuss a little bit of racism and xenophobia, so specifically racism against Chinese folks. I think that's kind of it, though. Chris, am I forgetting any content warnings we should be aware of?
Mild, perhaps alluded to drug use?
All right, so there's maybe just one bump of coke in this episode.
Maybe. That's our speculation. Once again, we don't want to be defaming anyone here.
Speculation.
Just kind of sounds like maybe there's a guy in here that could have been, All
right, so the summary for Feeding the Dragon is thus. As seen on Fox News' Tucker Carlson Tonight, Maria Bartiromo, Bloomberg, Salt Talks, Steve Bannon's War Room 2020, Adam Carolla Show, Useful Idiots, John Solomon Reports, Kaiser Reports, CNBC, wow, this is still happening, VOA, and Fox Business. A deeply revealing memoir of big wins and hard lessons from a seasoned executive caught smack in the middle of the $1 trillion soft power struggle pitting China against Hollywood, the NBA, and American business.
Okay, so
that list of shows just, I did not realize it
so
went
as
on.
You can perhaps see, this is a little bit more self-aggrandizing than an actual interesting, look at business stuff, let's say. You perhaps might have picked this up because you were interested in seeing American and Chinese business relationships and their inner workings and the like. You're going to get just a surface level take on that at best, while the author, Chris Fenton, talks about how much he did and how much he was involved in these.
How many deals he made? Deals,
business
Chris.
Deals. Stocks.
All right. This is basically just the Art of the Deal 2020 China edition. That's all this book is. Yeah, so at the beginning, he gives a little bit of background on himself, mostly just talking about how, about his experiences getting fired from his first job. That sets you up for him being fired from almost every job he's ever had. Including DMG, I think. Which
figures out the Olive Garden system where they actually make profits on upselling appetizers and desserts, and the entrees themselves aren't exactly what they're making the money off of. So even though people are expected to order an entree, you're then supposed to upsell them on all the other additions. But he figured out, if I don't sell them the entree and I tell them to just get appetizers to share and drinks to, pass around, my numbers would look better in the system because the averaging takes the entree price into account. But if there's no entree there, then it's just almost pure profit margin. And therefore, I look like an amazing salesman. Look at me. As he puts it, I am an Olive Garden god. Not an exaggerated line. Literally a Dennis Reynolds style. I am an Olive Garden god. I'm a 5-star wearer.
Drunk on hubris, the Olive Garden god begins secretly consuming tiramisu. And eventually his manager discovers that he has consumed 273 tiramisu, and he is fired. Piece of what seems like gossip. I don't know, but it was
thrown in there for, I don't know.
Okay, so then this is kind of like where you notice these chapters about his job at this agency that also handled musicians. So it becomes this thing where he starts trying to tie himself to greater people and events. He tries to say something like he was the one who told someone about Kurt Cobain's suicide, because this agency, in addition to handling Danzig, also was handling Nirvana at the time. But really what happened was just that he listened to a radio program, and that radio program was also playing in other offices, and then he mentioned it to someone, and that was it. And it's like, why are you trying to tie Kurt Cobain's suicide to you? You're such a starfucker. I hate you, Chris Fenton. Debunking Hollywood Agent is Chris Fenton Feeding the Dragon or Feeding His Ego by Andrew Rousseau Esquire. And I must say, Mr. Rousseau, not really sure how to say that, did all the research that I was hoping to find, like, he provided all the things that I was wondering about. And it definitely, I think my suspicions were at least partially correct based on what this article explains. I mean, it turns out that, like, Chris Fenton has actually been fired from just about every job he's ever had in Hollywood. And again, like, I know people get fired. It doesn't mean you're a bad person for getting fired from a job, but it does feel like he's kind of covering it up and also not explaining why. And sometimes he got fired for cause. So that means that you did something real bad to get fired. So it's not like you just get let go because someone doesn't like you. But he was, let me see. MBST was a prestigious management company that Fenton worked for. But he never mentions in the book. And it's because he was fired for cause. But of course, he was fired for cause, locked out of their offices. And it was confirmed that he was fired due to attempted theft of client and intellectual property. But he never talks about this. He talks about getting fired for tiramisu eating, but not for stealing. So, not for, like, actual adult theft, not just eating a tiramisu. And there's a bunch of other, this article points out a bunch of other things that I was also curious about. So he calls himself president of DMG for 17 years. And yet it seems like he's really just Dan's agent. This article makes a compelling case that Fenton's just kind of a bullshitter and has just gotten by, I think because in the entertainment industry, things move pretty quickly. And also a lot of people in the entertainment industry are kind of shitbags anyway. So, it's not like he's not at home in that profession if he's going to lie about stuff all the time. I mean, it seems like he's only survived by being close to the people who actually make the deals, like Dan Mintz and others.
That's my central problem with this entire book, actually.
Yeah, he's not actually the one solely responsible for this. He might be on a team, but he's working for Dan, and Dan and other people are making these deals. Like, I think maybe some of Fenton's purported success here is because he's claiming to be a specialist in something that very few people understand. Yeah, and I mean, because why would I be interested in, I don't know, I guess some people might be interested in a memoir about some random Hollywood executive, but it's just annoying that this book doesn't actually get anything. I don't really get a good memoir. I don't get details on American-Chinese film negotiation. I just get this watered down, like you said, sort of a prolonged puff piece.